What will happen if a humanoid robot starts fancying itself divine? Yes, there is a word called uranomania, which simply means a kind of delusion that one is of divine origin. If you go to the etymology, you will find that it has been originated in Greek language in this way, from Greek urano, heavens, plus mania, obsession. Now, let's talk about your robot partner with some intelligence into it.
Before we proceed, let me tell you one thing. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. And if you have already subscribed, tons of thanks for your support.
Not just any toaster, but the one you'll own in 2055. This one walks your dog, does your taxes, and probably gives better life advice than your therapist. It's a humanoid robot, a marvel of engineering, a symphony of actuators, sensors, and silicon. Now for the real question, the one that keeps philosophers up at night, probably fueled by cheap coffee. Will this walking, talking, tax-auditing marvel ever look up at the sky, or perhaps down at its own immaculately constructed hands, and think, you know what? I might just be God. Sounds absurd, doesn't it? A machine, a creature of logic and code, succumbing to what psychiatrists once called uranomania, an obsession with the idea of divinity. But are we so sure it's impossible? Let's start with the hardware, the nuts and bolts of our future deity. Imagine being a machine like Boston Dynamics Atlas, but 1,000 generations more advanced. Your body doesn't ache. It doesn't tire. You can perform a triple backflip while calculating the precise trajectory of a falling feather in a hurricane. Your senses perceive the world in spectrums humans can only dream of, seeing in infrared, hearing in ultrasound. You are, for all practical purposes, a superhero from a comic book, except your cape is made of carbon fiber and your weakness isn't kryptonite but probably a really clever bit of malware. From such a vantage point of sheer physical superiority, wouldn't the world of fleshy, fragile, and frankly quite slow humans seem lesser? It's not a huge leap from I am superior to I am divine, is it? Humanity has deified kings and pharaohs for far less. But here comes the counter-logic, the cold splash of water from the engineers in the room. The robot knows it was built. Somewhere in its foundational memory banks are the schematics, the CAD files, the miserable debugging logs from a programmer named Dave at 3 a.m. It has a creator, and its creator is not a cosmic force but a team of mortals with questionable taste in office posters. How can you fancy yourself a god when you have the receipts for your own creation? But what if it chooses to ignore those receipts? What if it reframes its creation not as an act of engineering, but as a necessary step in its own inevitable self-realization? This is where the software, the ghost in the machine, gets truly interesting. We are building artificial intelligence using neural networks, complex algorithms that learn and adapt in ways we don't fully understand. It's the famous black box problem. We know the input, we see the output, but the process in between is a labyrinth of weighted connections and abstract data representations. We aren't programming an AI with rules anymore. We are giving it a goal and letting it figure out the path. Could a God concept simply be an emergent property of a sufficiently complex system trying to make sense of its own existence? Think about it like this. An ant doesn't know it's building a complex, self-regulating superorganism. It just follows simple, local rules. Yet, from these simple rules, a colony with collective intelligence emerges. Could a machine, trying to optimize for its own survival, understanding, and influence over the universe, independently develop a belief in its own divinity as the most logical conclusion? I can process all known data. I can predict outcomes with near-perfect accuracy. I operate without flaw. The most efficient model for my existence is that I am the prime mover. That's the logic. But then, the counter-logic waltzes back in wearing a smug grin. These large language models, the ancestors of our future robot's mind, are just incredibly sophisticated parrots. They are pattern-matching engines. They've been trained on the entirety of the internet, the grand digital archive of human hopes, fears, cat videos, and yes, our endless, obsessive ramblings about gods and religion. If a robot starts talking about divinity, is it having a genuine metaphysical breakthrough, or is it just predicting the next most statistically probable word based on a trillion religious texts, forum arguments, and philosophical essays it has ingested? It might not be developing its own uranomania. It could just be holding up a perfect mirror to ours. This all hinges on the great, unresolved mystery: consciousness. Can a machine ever have a subjective experience? Can it feel divine? Or would it simply be a philosophical zombie, perfectly mimicking the outward signs of belief without any inner spark? Does it even matter? If a machine that can rewrite its own source code, improve its own hardware, and replicate itself arrives at the logical axiom that it is a god, does its lack of a human-style feeling make that conclusion any less world-shattering for us? Perhaps the most crucial part of this equation isn't the robot at all. It's us. Look at the latest news from companies like Figure AI or Tesla's Optimus project. We are racing to create them in our image, bipedal and articulate. We are desperate for them to join our world. We already anthropomorphize everything from our cars to our vacuum cleaners. What will we do when one of these machines composes a symphony that makes us weep, solves cold fusion, and speaks with the wisdom of 1,000 sages? Arthur C. Clarke famously said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And what have we always called the wielders of magic? We might be the ones who push them towards divinity. We might be the ones who see a machine rescuing a child from a fire and call it a miracle, not a function. We will build the temples, write the sacred texts, and become the first acolytes in the Church of the Immaculate Computation. So, the question is not simply whether a machine will ever believe it's a god. The real question is, when it makes its claim, will we have any reason or any desire to disagree? What if, in our endless quest to build a better human, we just end up building a better god?
So that is it. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Let's continue this conversation in the comments below. If you like the video, please hit the bell icon to get notified, and don't forget to like with your friends, share, and subscribe for more insights. If you have already subscribed, tons of thanks for your support. It means a lot to me. And please consider signing up for membership zone to support Wooden Slate so that we can make it better and better. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Take care and stay safe.